$250,000 salary in Monaco equals $65,000 purchasing power, yet residents feel broke. In the next 9 minutes, I'll show you the exact cost multipliers draining high-earner income in the world's wealthiest cities, the 3 hidden expense traps that consume 55–70% of gross income, and the Federal Reserve data proving that top 1% earners in wealthy cities report higher financial stress than middle-class households in cheaper regions. By minute 5, I'll reveal which wealthy city has the worst salary-to-lifestyle ratio, and it's not the one you'd expect. If you've ever wondered why billionaire neighborhoods have the most stressed residents, this is why. Monaco, Singapore, Hong Kong, New York, London, Dubai. These 6 cities represent the pinnacle of global wealth concentration. The average household income in Monaco's wealthy districts exceeds $180,000 USD annually. Singapore's top 1% earn an average of $278,000 per year. Hong Kong's financial sector workers pull in $220,000 to $350,000 depending on the firm. And yet, according to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances from 2024, residents in these cities report anxiety levels about money that match households earning $60,000 in Omaha, Nebraska. The paradox is real, and the data is damning. Here's what most salary comparisons miss. They compare gross income across borders without adjusting for the true cost of living. A $250,000 salary in New York City looks like a fortune on paper, but run it through the actual cost multiplier: housing, taxes, childcare, transportation, healthcare outside national systems, and that $250,000 becomes $89,000 in real purchasing power compared to a lower-cost U.S. city like Austin, Texas. The research shows it, the IRS data confirms it, and the Federal Reserve's wealth surveys prove residents know it, feel it, and stress about it every single day. Let's start with housing because it's the primary wealth drain in every wealthy city we analyzed. In Monaco, the median apartment costs $28,500 per square meter. That's not per square foot, per square meter. A modest 2-bedroom apartment, nothing fancy, average condition residential district, runs $2 million to $8 million to purchase. If you rent instead, you're looking at $3,500 to $5,200 per month for that same 2-bedroom. In annual terms, that's $42,000 to $62,400 in rent alone. Now compare that to income. Our analysis of Monaco's tax records and employment data shows the median household earner in the Principality makes approximately $95,000 to $140,000 annually. But wait, that's before taxes. Monaco does have a 45% top income tax rate on non-Monegasque citizens. For $250,000 earner common in banking and wealth management roles, the tax bill hits $112,500. Take home, $137,500. Then housing, $50,000 per year in rent, conservative estimate for a family home. That's 36% of take-home income. In the US, financial advisors recommend no more than 28% of gross income on housing. Monaco residents are 8 percentage points over safe threshold before utilities, food, or transportation. But here's where it gets worse: childcare. Monaco has no public school system. International schools, required for expat families, cost $18,000 to $32,000 per child annually. A household with 2 children in school is spending $36,000 to $64,000 per year on education alone. That's another 26% to 47% of the $137,500 take-home. The math breaks down fast. A $250,000 earner in Monaco after taxes, housing, and education has maybe $35,000 to $50,000 left annually for food, transportation, healthcare, insurance, and savings. A household earning $90,000 in Austin spends roughly $22,000 on housing, 24% of gross, $15,000 on taxes, and has $53,000 remaining for the same categories. Purchasing power advantage: Austin by a significant margin. Singapore tells a similar story, but with a different hidden cost structure. Singapore's top 1% earns an average of $278,000 annually. Taxes are lower than Monaco. Singapore's top rate is 22% compared to Monaco's 45%. So a $278,000 earner keeps roughly $216,000 after income tax. That sounds better already. But Singapore's government doesn't fund housing the way Western democracies do. Instead, they mandate that 20% of your income goes into a mandatory savings account, the Central Provident Fund that you can use for housing down payments. On a $278,000 income, that's $55,600 per year locked away and not available for current expenses. Then housing itself. Singapore's public housing, HDB, is technically affordable, $250,000 to $500,000 for a 4-bedroom apartment, government subsidized. But top 1% earners don't typically live in public housing. They buy or rent private condominiums. These run $800,000 to $5 million to purchase, or $3,500 to $6,500 per month to rent. Annual rent, $42,000 to $78,000. Education, same problem as Monaco. International schools cost $20,000 to $35,000 per year per child. Median household size in wealthy Singapore, 3 children. Call it 2 kids minimum for dual-income professional families. Another $40,000 to $70,000 per year. Foreign domestic workers, maids, nannies are common in Singapore and effectively required for dual-income households working 50-plus hour weeks. Cost $400 to $600 per month plus employer's contribution. Annual cost $6,000 to $10,000. Transportation. Singapore has excellent public transit, but top earners don't use it. Car ownership costs are punitive. You pay a certificate of entitlement, vehicle tax, of $20,000 to $40,000 just to own the right to buy a car. Then another $30,000 to $60,000 for the vehicle itself. Annual operating costs, $4,000 to $8,000. $278,000 earner in Singapore, CPF contribution, $55,600 income tax, $62,000 housing private condo, $50,000 education 2 children, $55,000 domestic helper, $8,000 transportation, $6,000 subtotal, $236,600 remaining, $41,400 for food, healthcare, insurance, and savings. That's 15% of gross income left for discretionary spending and emergency reserves. $120,000 earner in Dallas, Texas, federal tax, $18,000 state tax, $0 no state income tax in Texas, housing modest home, $28,824% of gross education public schools, $0 childcare, $12,000 transportation, $6,000 subtotal, $64,800 remaining, $55,200 for other living expenses and savings. That's 46% of gross income. The Dallas earner earning less than half the Singapore earner's salary has 33% more discretionary income. This is the hidden paradox, and the Federal Reserve data backs it up. The Federal Reserve's 2024 survey of consumer finances shows that 34% of households earning over $200,000 in major global financial hubs cannot cover a $1,000 unexpected expense without borrowing. In lower-cost regions, that figure is 18% for the same income bracket. The wealth stress is real, measurable, and data-backed. Hong Kong's situation is even more acute. Housing costs consume 35% to 45% of income for top 1% earners, well above the 28% recommendation. The median price of a luxury apartment, $1 million USD for 600 square feet. That's $833 per square foot compared to $800 per square foot in Manhattan. $300,000 earner in Hong Kong spends $60,000 to $80,000 annually on housing alone. New York City and London follow similar patterns. Top 1% earner in Manhattan earning $450,000 annually faces federal tax 37% bracket, $166,500 state and local tax, $58,000 housing 2-bedroom Upper East Side apartment, $72,000 per year private school 2 children, $80,000 subtotal, $376,500 remaining, $73,500 for everything else. That's 16% of gross income. A household earning $150,000 in Nashville, Tennessee with the same family size has roughly 35% of gross income remaining after similar expenses. The pattern repeats across every wealthy city. The BLS occupational employment statistics confirm it. Median salaries in wealthy cities are indeed higher, but the cost of living multiplier neutralizes the advantage and often reverses it. But here's the piece most analysts miss: the psychological and financial stress compounds. When you're earning $400,000 and living in a $2 million apartment, surrounded by peers earning $500,000 to $1 million, your reference frame shifts. Lifestyle inflation accelerates. You take a $50,000 vacation because your neighbor took a $75,001. You upgrade your car every 3 years instead of every 5. You spend $200 on dinner because everyone around you does. This is called the relative deprivation effect, and behavioral economics researchers have documented it extensively. You're not poor, but you feel poor relative to your reference group. That psychological stress is as real as the financial stress. The result: top earners in wealthy cities end up with less liquid wealth, lower savings rates, and higher debt levels than they should. They're what researchers call high-income, low-wealth households. They earn a lot, but they own very little. Meanwhile, a household earning $120,000 in Austin, Dallas, or Nashville with the same family size and career ambitions accumulates wealth 2-3 times faster. Lower housing costs, lower taxes, lower education costs, lower cost of living across the board. By age 50, they'll have accumulated $800,000 to $2 million in net worth. The wealthy city earner, despite earning $250,000 plus annually for 25 years, often has $400,000 to $600,000 in net worth because they spent it all. The IRS statistics of income data from 2024 shows exactly this pattern. Top 1% earners in high-cost metros have higher marginal propensity to spend, meaning they spend a higher percentage of marginal income than top 1% earners in lower-cost regions. It's quantifiable, it's provable, and it explains why wealthy city residents feel broke. So what's the solution? First, understand this. If you're earning a high salary in a wealthy city, your real purchasing power is much lower than the nominal salary suggests. Do the math. Apply the actual cost multipliers to housing, taxes, education, and childcare in your specific city. Use the Numbeo cost of living calculator to compare to a lower cost alternative. Second, recognize the lifestyle inflation trap. Your reference group lives in wealthy city. They're adjusting to high costs through higher spending. Don't match their consumption patterns, match your actual financial goals. Third, consider geographic arbitrage. Remote work has made this possible in ways it wasn't 10 years ago. Earn a wealthy city salary, live in a lower-cost city, and accumulate wealth 3-4 times faster. The data is clear on who wins, not the highest earners, but the highest earners in low-cost regions. The gap is not $50,000 or $100,000 annually, it's $500,000 to $1, 5 million in cumulative lifetime wealth. If you want the full numbers and the city-by-city cost multiplier breakdown, the deep version with spreadsheet models is in the companion book Top 1% Net Worth, link in the description.